Hello kind people of YouTube and welcome back to another video. In my earlier video today I gave you a lot of hard news and facts coming out of the crypto world today, but in this second shorter video I just want to look at some perspectives on the markets, on the future, on the current state that I found varying degrees of useful, agreeable. Let's get it started with this first article from Cointelegraph. This is actually a couple days old, but I thought it was a good sentiment to just get your mind into for a moment. Major UK charity fund executive believes crypto market crash is just a bump in the road. A major United Kingdom charity fund executive said at the Bloomberg Crypto Summit in London that the recent crypto market crash is just a bump in the road, Bloomberg reports on December 7th. James Bevan, I probably mispronounced that, but who knows, the chief investment manager at CCLA, told the audience during a panel that he doesn't see the recent decrease in the value of cryptocurrencies as an existential crisis. Rather, he noted that he believes this is just a bump in the road. He then also compared crypto to traditional finance, stating that institutional investors have had plenty of bumps in the road in conventional currencies and transaction systems. CCLA is CCLA is self-described as one of the UK's largest fund managers and claims to have 7.842 million, just slightly short of 10 trillion US dollars in assets under management on the last day of March this year. Bloomberg's article on the news outlet's Crypto Summit also predicts that the future of cryptocurrencies will entail greater regulation, more involvement by large institutions, lower volatility, and greater integration with traditional assets. I think this just looks to be a fact. That's less prediction than just looking at the current state and recognizing what the future has in it for us. The first signs of large institutions starting to interact with the industry are already present, with the world's second largest stock exchange, Nasdaq, reportedly having confirmed the launch of Bitcoin futures in the first half of next year. Bloomberg also cites Mariake Flamand, I probably terribly mispronounced that, the global chief marketing officer at blockchain-powered payments firm Circle International Financial Limited, as noting that it is beneficial to get the wheels in motion for crypto regulation so the industry can learn from potential mistakes. And we don't really need to read the leftover paragraphs of this. I read this out because this is generally an opinion that I agree with. I talk on this channel a lot about the future potential of crypto, and that is once again what you need to pay attention to. Don't look at what the market is doing right now as much as looking at the future that is ahead of us. Of course, nobody can predict the future, but you can make reasonable assessments, better than guesses, reasonable predictions. And every single thing, except for the actual market movement that is sliding down right now. But even there, if you're looking at a longer term, this is just one of many bear markets that we had before the next bull run. Every single thing is pointing towards crypto just becoming bigger and bigger and bigger in the next couple of years. In early 2019, we have Nasdaq getting into crypto. We have ICE getting into crypto. We have the second biggest German stock exchange getting into crypto. We have massive corporations that are both in the traditional finance world and in other technology getting into crypto. We have Ripple establishing more and more relations with different companies around the globe. We have development in cryptocurrencies getting more funding, more people working on it than ever before. We have hundreds of companies, thousands of companies hiring blockchain people. We have more and more mainstream interest in crypto. We have so many new use cases that are being addressed. The future is so incredibly bright, and this is just a bump in the road. Because we're seeing everything fall right now, but while that is falling, in a way that you don't notice until you look for it, there's a foundation being built, and that foundation is going to be the one for the biggest bull run we've ever seen. That is going to be the foundation for a future in which crypto is bigger than it has ever been, in which it becomes truly mainstream. I would go so far as to say that awareness of crypto is becoming mainstream. But crypto itself isn't anywhere near mainstream yet. So just think of the potential there once it does go mainstream. But we have some internal problems in the crypto space that we should probably be addressing, and David Schwartz from Ripple gave his 2 cents. In a recent podcast by Internet History Podcast, the chief technology officer at Ripple, David Schwartz, discussed the tribal nature that surrounds the cryptocurrency and blockchain space. Here he addressed the issue as unfortunate and stated that the members of the space must understand that working together and in sync is significant to moving forward, in his words. They're very much like religious battles. You have influential people who are committed to a position that like one digital asset is the best and they can't acknowledge any of the strengths of others or the weaknesses of their own, which makes it difficult for people to make good decisions about, which assets to use or what to use them for. Get this printed on a shirt. This is such a simple, obvious statement, but a lot of people in the crypto world aren't recognizing it. There is so much infighting. There's so much animosity, so much hatred. Supporters of coin A hate supporters of coin B. Supporters of coin B then hate supporters of coin C. And it's just, why isn't there space for all of us? I've been saying for months now, if even in conservative estimates, the crypto space is going to be enormous. There is more than enough space for a ton of different projects to all coexist, to all be profitable, to all make their investors good money without us having to fight each other. If you look at any other market, there is never just one. The idea that there will only be one cryptocurrency, that say Bitcoin will be the only one around in 10 years and that everything else will die, or that XRP will take over, or that Ethereum will take over and everything else will disappear, or everything else will be so worthless as to essentially be gone, that is utterly ridiculous, and I don't know why anyone would even want that. The only angle from which you would like that is if you have a lot invested in only one coin and want to make maximum profit. But ultimately, having a total monopoly in the crypto market isn't good for anyone. A lot of crypto projects are doing very different things. They're not trying to do the same thing. They're addressing different problems in different ways. They have different technological underpinnings and they can coexist. There isn't just one mobile phone company. There isn't just one country. There isn't just one political party. There isn't just one bank. There isn't just one TV channel. Why is this idea so endemic in crypto that only one will survive and everyone who doesn't support your favorite coin, your favorite project, is an enemy? I have my favorites. I have projects that I believe in a lot more than others. And I care about those. But what I don't get is the assumption that anyone who doesn't care about them as much, who has a different opinion about them, is necessarily your enemy. And I don't see the point in needlessly attacking other coins for no good reason either. I'm trying very hard. I don't know if I live up to it. I'm trying very hard to be fair, nuanced, and not to go after any coin in an unfair way, in an undeserved way, and to appreciate both the good and bad about a lot of projects. Even ones that have had very bad press, I try to do my best to take an objective look. I hope I succeed. That is what I'm kind of trying to do with this channel. But seeing statements like this is just wonderful, because we've had so many people in the crypto world, even influential people, just straight up attacking each other. And for what? For what? These people are not your enemy. Unless they're trying to attack your blockchain, they're not your enemy. Just developing their own separate crypto project that probably isn't even trying to do the same thing as yours. They're not your enemy. You should be working together, because ultimately what is important is for the crypto space to grow. And if the crypto space grows, if the regulation is fine, if mass adoption comes into play, we will all benefit. Everyone backing any legitimate project that has actual use cases, that has actual technological strengths, that has a good team behind them, everyone will benefit. We don't have to fight. We don't have to hate each other just because we have a different favorite coin. Like, I have said it many times, XRP is one of my favorite projects. EOS is another one. I have various other projects that I'm very much interested in that I think have a very interesting and bright future. That doesn't mean, just because I'm personally not as big on Stellar Lumens, that I hate anyone who supports Stellar Lumens. I think that cryptocurrency has a space as well. And just because there's some overlap in what they're trying to do with a coin that I support, doesn't mean I have to hate Stellar Lumens, doesn't mean I have to lie about its capacities to badmouth it, doesn't mean I have to insult the people behind it or the people who support it. There's space for everyone. There is space for everybody. Nobody benefits from a monopoly. In a monopoly, nothing gets done. In a monopoly, there are no technological improvements anymore. There is no drive to improve your project. In a monopoly, one party or one group of people has complete control over everything. And even with something decentralized like a cryptocurrency, having too much power in one cryptocurrency when there could be multiple around is still troubling. What if there are issues with that? What if there are issues with that one project? What if it can be attacked? What if it can be taken over? Then, and a lot of the times we do not necessarily know if there are weaknesses until someone finds that weakness. You can't discount all weaknesses. There might be kinds of attacks that we haven't even thought of yet. And for that reason, it is good to have multiple projects that are running different technology, that are coexisting, that are not just attacking each other. Which, it sometimes feels very childish to be in this space because I mean, you guys don't see it as much because a lot of those comments get recognized as spam by YouTube automatically, but I get so many hate comments, not for what I say, not for what I do, not for saying something that is incorrect or insulting someone or coming after someone in an unjustified way, but just for which coins I support. And that is just utterly ridiculous. That is ridiculous. I'm not doing anything to you by supporting a coin that you're personally not a big fan of. We can all coexist. But let's just read the rest of this article because it continues in the same vein. He switched the subject to the workings of Ripple, wherein he explained that the company is focused on the use case of global payments but is also excited to see innovation in the space. Furthermore, he stated that he expects to see the XRP ledger be used in different sectors of innovation, moving beyond payments. About tribalism, he said there are certain social media platforms that fuel the trade, such as Twitter, mentioning the trend as hostile. It absolutely is hostile. He also said, tribalism is chasing a lot of people out of the space. Listen to him. Because of some platforms, particularly Twitter, it's just extremely hostile and I think we need to fix that. Again, if the crypto markets are sending us any signals, it's that we're all in this together and we need to work together to grow. That is a beautiful sentiment and correct, and he is identifying problems that should be obvious but that some of us don't want to recognize. Tribalism is ultimately hurting the crypto world as a whole. Imagine just entering the crypto world for the first time, trying to get into crypto, and you're looking at these different projects and you're like, oh, that one's interesting, that one is interesting, I might buy a few of each of these. And then the moment you talk to people about it, you kind of have to make a decision, or at least they expect you to. You either support the coin they support or you're the enemy. And if you support the coin they support, you can only support the coin they support. Because support of any other coin also makes you the enemy. Like, even if you do support their favorite one. And imagine just jumping into that space. And you're not expecting that kind of hostility. And it's tiring, it turns people off, it turns people away, and it makes people wonder what the hell is going on in the crypto world. What the hell kind of people are active in the crypto world? We don't need to hate each other. We can work together and we are all in this together. Ultimately, what matters, especially right now, is how the crypto market as a whole develops. And that is the most important thing, and we don't have to hate each other, just be kind to each other. I do my best. I don't always succeed, but I think we should all try to do our best. And unless it's an outright scam or it's perpetrated by people who are a real danger to the to another cryptocurrency or to the market in general, no reason for hostility. No reason for hostility just because someone supports a project you don't support or anything like that. And last but not least, Tom Lee is once again making assessments. Let's take a look. Cryptocurrency bull and co-founder of Fundstrat Global Advisors, Thomas Lee, said that the fair value of Bitcoin is significantly higher than the current price. In a note delivered on Thursday, the veteran market analyst reportedly said that Bitcoin's fair value is between $13,800 and $14,800, considering the number of wallet addresses, usage per account, and factors influencing supply. He attributed the divergence to last year's meteoric rise, a macroeconomic meltdown, and treasury sales during ICOs. Lee stated, in fact, working backwards to solve for the current price of Bitcoin, this implies crypto wallets should fall to 17 million from 50 million currently. Now, I'm not going to talk about the system he is using to get to this valuation, though if I looked more deeply into it, I would probably find issues with it because I'm not sure you can make a fair valuation based on just how many people are currently using it. Just the fact that a certain number of accounts are active, and I think he might be overstating just how much he takes that into account. Because here he's even saying the fair value would be 150,000 if there were 7% as many Bitcoin wallets as Visa accounts. And I have a major issue with that, because that is assuming that they are also using the accounts a similar amount. I can absolutely promise you that most Bitcoin wallets do not see as much money flowing through them as most Visa cards do. Even as a large crypto supporter, I use my credit card significantly more than I use any of my cryptocurrency holdings. I move the money around more often. I use it at point of purchase locations. I buy things with my credit card almost every day. But how many times do I move money through a crypto account? How many times do I use that one? So just the sheer number of active accounts doesn't really give us the full picture if there is so much less activity on them. And I can pretty much promise you that the average Bitcoin wallet is seeing a lot less activity, a lot less money flowing through it, a significantly lower number of transactions than the average credit card. But in general, the whole idea that you can currently come to such a thing as a fair value where the value should be, I think there's a bigger issue with that, and that is that the crypto markets are simply not mature yet. In a couple more years, once we've seen the markets mature more, once we've seen investors in the markets apply more standard valuation models, we will see prices more closely reflect what traditional financial models say a cryptocurrency should be worth. We have seen attempts at figuring out the correct value of cryptocurrencies for a bunch, and using traditional financial models, you usually get to a very different price than the one they currently hold. But the whole thing is that assumes that everyone is a rational actor. And you cannot assume, especially in such a young market, where so much is about hype, so much is about how people feel about the markets right now, you cannot expect rational actors. So I don't necessarily see the value in even making these estimates right now, because this has no real world application. Like, absolutely none. I'm sometimes wondering why people come up with certain price predictions or certain valuations. I mean, this is not a price prediction. He's not saying it will go to this price. He's saying that is what the price right now should be. And regardless of if he is right or not, based on either his own standards or any other, and regardless of whether his standards even make any sense, what I'm wondering is, why would you expect it to be rational? Why would you expect anything to be rational right now? And if you don't think the markets are rational, which they're not, then why even make this assessment? Why even calculate this? I just genuinely do not see the point of this. We're seeing so many prices thrown around, and between the straight up guesses that people are making for future values and these calculations that are ultimately useless, I just don't get it. But with that, I'm gonna let you guys go for now. As always, thank you so much for watching. Remember, be kind to each other. You can find the links to these articles in my description to read yourself. In the description, you can also find links to my social media pages where you can follow me on Facebook or Twitter, as well as ways to support the channel monetarily if you feel so inclined. Any little amount of money is heavily appreciated, really, really appreciated. But if you don't want to or can't support me monetarily, I would really appreciate if you could just take the 10 seconds to leave a like and or a comment under this video. I know every YouTuber asks you to do that, but that is because it really significantly helps a channel. Since I've been asking you guys to do that at the end of my videos, I have seen my videos perform so much better on the second day, just because all those additional likes and additional comments have pushed YouTube to show my content to more people. So thank you so much to all of you who've left more comments than before, who have left more likes. It is so incredibly appreciated. Thank you, you're really helping the channel. And I'm gonna see you guys again tomorrow.